bet we're going to another cutscene immediately. Yep.
This place has undergone some changes. Its halcyon days seem far behind it.
Halcyon. All that is left of that kingdom and its people is the empty citadel you see before you.
You have regrets. Destruction was the destiny those fools deserved. The choice you made was correct.
Well, well. I never thought I would hear you say that. Now, Counselor, to what do I owe this pleasure?
I came to inquire about your intentions.
My intentions?
Your intentions for this world. A world I believe you would protect. Am I not correct, Dameol? It is only a matter of time before the forbidden spell is used again. Does the thought not seem disagreeable to you?
We all share the same views of this world's pitiful denizens. Their lives are no longer the slightest value.
I see. And you are quite sure of this?
My deeds shall demonstrate that I mean what I say. Watch as the frail hopes of the people of this world are torn from them and turned to the blackest despair.
So you would have them share your fate. Very well.
Counselor, just what are your intentions? This should be interesting.
By the skies, you're swift, boy. Who is who? The counselor? Or Shadar? The blackened figure with like the long red hair is Shadar, and is apparently the primary villain of the game. Although I say apparently because there's a lot of really big questions about who Shadar is, what his intentions are, and how he relates to the White Witch. And of course, the name of the game is Wrath of the White Witch. So, Max, I support you in that, but I won't be tuning in. And then the other guy, the dude with like the golden mask, is the leader of the like hidden council. Effectively, here's what it seems to be. You've got the White Witch, who seems to be the de facto ruler of the world. And you occasionally see like cutscenes with her. She's got this really freaking amazing cloak that has like the cosmos on the inside of it. But she's very lethargic. She almost seems like she might be brokenhearted, to be honest, because she doesn't really do anything. She's like, okay, yeah, do that, yes, we'll see what happens. And then you've got the ruling council, and the ruling council very much, seems to be the ones who advise the White Witch. The counselor is absolutely the one that seemingly sent us back in time. So for some reason, he wants us to, at the very least, defeat Shadar. We don't really know what his intentions are, but he's definitely not allied with Shadar, and he's actively sabotaging Shadar. And possibly also the White Witch. It's very hard to say. But we do know that we were specifically sent back in time to get Mornstar. So the counselor may be on our side, might not be on our side, might be using us to further his own ends, we don't know. But those are the three big players. You've got Shadar, the White Witch, and the Counselor. You're swift, boy, I'll give you that. Seems you have yourself a full set of magic stones already. We couldn't have done it without Tagiri. There's nowhere he can't fly. Well, that's actually not true. You done me proud. He may be a mere fledgling, but he's all the makers of a legendary dragon. Now, you know what needs to be doing next, I take it? The magic stones need to be reading out of that wand of yours. So, we just put the magic stones back in the holes in the wand, huh? Okay, here goes. Ah! Huh? Yeah. Uh-oh. Well, they'll never fit. It's magic. Flippin' heck, what's all this about? The wrong bloomin' size, ain't they? You blind to something? I guess I didn't think to check. I mean, we're so busy looking for them. You're not seriously telling me you end up with a bunch of worthless counterfeits, are you? No, they're real. That I can be no doubt. Give her the stones you cross swords with are real enough, are they not? Well then, why don't they fit the wand? There's Mornstar that changed size. Likely as not. Shaped the shape to fit the hands of its new owner. There's bound to be a way to get those stones to follow suit, and I'll warrant some wise soul has scribbled it down somewhere. A nose for plunder, and I say you best have a sniff around the self-same place you first heard of Mornstar, and came by the map. Amelie, of course. You're right, Kulai. This is back to Amelina, is it? She's becoming a habit. Well, come on there, Oliver. Oh, no problem, Jellybean. Bum bum ba 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 bum. Now we will save and head to Hameline, because we've got 20 minutes left on the stream. I am glad to be done with those 3 stones. Man, Jellybean, you weren't here yesterday, but the first stone was an absolute... Holy crap, it killed me. I honestly think they represent the 3 different lands. Because, if I remember correctly, they're key items. The Starstone, the Sunstone, and the Moonstone. Okay, maybe not 3 lands. But that's interesting, because there's a 4th element. There's 4 elements of creatures. Because if you go into here, you've got, you know, that is star signed, sun sign, like time signed, and moon signed. And again, you come down here, you've got, you know, planet drop. And planet is the only... Yeah, that was the stone by Yule. The stone by Yule was a absolute pain in the butt. It was awful. Okay, so Thunderstorm Bracer and 2 others. Or Generator Thunderbolt. It took me all of last stream to get it done, so I'm glad we actually got quite a bit done this stream. So let's see, Thunderbolt or Snowstorm for sure. No one else can metamorphose right now. Let's head to Hameline. Sparkly! Can't trick me, Mr. Sparkle, I see you. Shadow Glass. But yeah, oh my gosh. Whew. It was just the double snowstorms that just absolutely destroyed me. Okay, so have I got anything else to turn in at the moment? Pretty much, Max. Pokemon with swords. And Oliver. And British. Wait, this is Black Market. I didn't want to be in here. will, like, not read everything. Okay. Is this relevant? Oh, hey. Awesome. Oh, this game is incredible. I really wish... The only problem with it is it's PS3 exclusive. And I don't know if you guys know a whole lot about, like, the way that things are designed. But the PS3 is very, very, very much, it just has a completely different system than the, like, PlayStation 2 and 4 and, you know, Xbox, Windows, even the Wii. It has a completely different, it uses a completely different architecture, and so things that are made for the PS3 are really, 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 really hard to release on anything else. Because you have to basically redesign them from the ground up. Hey, man. Okay, I've only done one. Oh, I did get this one. Okay, good. Oh, well then, you're in a better shape than Jellybean. I'm convinced Jellybean is going to try and figure out where I live and just sneak over here and swipe the PS3 one day. But then she'll be foiled by the fact that she'll, like, end up staying around and petting the cats until I come home. Hey, puppy. So what did you want, Mr. Flashy Guy? I see you down there. I forget what quest you had, though. Do I not have confidence? I thought I had confidence. Yeah, I got confidence. Okay, that's how I have to do it. Oh, well, I'm glad you recovered enough to go back to Indiana. There we go with that. You sound like me, Max. I have a PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4. A Wii, a Wii U, an Xbox 360, a DS, and... or, not, sorry, a 3DS, and a PlayStation Vita. Because I have to be able to stream stuff. Although if I ever end up having to play a 3DS game, I'm going to have to figure out how to get that set up. Because I bought it so I could do it, but I haven't had a need to do it yet. So I haven't actually, like, messed with it. Leap, leap, leap. I have no idea if my PS1 still works at all. It's in a box. I know what box it's in, but... Hello, sir. Guess what, your princess? We got all them stones. You have Mornstar's magic stones? So you recovered the map from Kublai? That's right, your highness. Well, actually, he kind of gave it to us. Kublai helped you? The Sky Pirate? He ain't a bad sort, once you get to know him. Took us under his wings, like. You can get his dragon to fly around on. Tidy, eh? He gave you a dragon? Can this be true? It's true, your highness. Tagiri helped us find the 3 magic stones. We couldn't have done it without him. And the problem is now, we're stuck with the stones back in the Mornstar. And I won't lie to you, we don't have the foggiest. We were kind of hoping you might be able to help us, your majesty. Well, please, give me the wanted stones. I would wish to examine them. Huh. Well, this is a rather tricky one. Oh, don't tell you can't help us either. The stones are just too big, aren't they? Well, if in a matter of unifying the size of the wand of the stones, my powers would be more than suffice. But I'm afraid it's not only their dimensions that are out of alignment, there is another problem, one that I lack the ability to resolve. Hang on, are you telling us it ain't just the wonky size we have to worry about? It's never flippin' easy, is it? Haha, I think I've got it. Just think for a moment, where exactly we get hold of Mornstar? It was when we were sent back to the past, which means, the problem may stem from an attempt to join the Mornstar 15 years past with the stones you obtained here in the present. As long as there is this, time difference, so to speak, it may not be possible to unite them. So, we need to find Mornstar here in the present. And if only that was that simple. I might have been searched for it, but it seems to have been destroyed. Not a trace of it remains in our time. Hold on, we brought it with us from the past, so surely it makes sense that it doesn't exist in the present as well. Oh, yeah. Wait, what? Hold on. It's all a bit flipping complicated for me. There may be one who can help you. I speak of Kulan, one of the 4 great sages. Her magical powers are most formidable. So, if we can find the great sage Kulan, she can help us with the Mornstar? We're talking about Kulan, the Queen of Heavens, right? She ruled a city in the clouds called Xanadu. Xanadu, really? But not that place. It was destroyed, yes. Her city was destroyed? Can it really be 5 years ago? And it must be. 5 years ago, news reached us that Shadar had attacked the celestial citadel of Xanadu. By the time we mustered our forces, it was too late. When Amaline's airborne divisions arrived, Xanadu had been wiped from the map. I'm afraid I don't know what became of the Queen and her subjects, but perhaps if you're lucky. Fat chance. Not like Shadar dealt with them just like you dealt with your predecessor. Swain, but please. In any case, it is not within my power to help you. For that I can only apologize. Oh, don't worry, your majesty. There must be another way. Well, if we can find Kulan, I guess we'll have to try another great sage. Another? Well, Alicia is no longer with us. Which leaves only Rashad. Yeah, my father's sure to know something. That's why you get your wisdom. Yes, Rashad may well be able to help you. Thank you, your majesty. I wonder if Horus is in the city. Because he said he was going to, like, hitch a ride on a boat. Oh no, he won't be in this city. He'll probably be hanging out with the fairies. They're hanging with the fairies. Gosh, look at that! Her! Her! As that type of army I found around these parts, there's no snap for starters. There shouldn't be something strange about it. It was a flippin' ghost, Ollie! Hold on, could she be? What is it? Is she a friend of yours? Yeah, we go way back. But seriously, that armor she's wearing. That's what they wore in Xanadu. Well, that's awfully convenient she showed up right now. But I thought Xanadu was destroyed. So she destroyed it. That's lucky. Come on, Ollie, but let's find out what a ghost got to save herself. Nothing, 'cause she's a ghost. Yep. So I say I wouldn't call survivor the right term. Can you see me? Of course we can. Why would we be able to? Oh, this is marvelous. You can hear me too? Sure we can. Before using spirit medium to speak to you, it must mean you are correct. I lost my life some time ago, and you are the first to notice my presence. Well, we weren't going to miss you in that getup, were we? So you came from Xanadu, did you? Indeed, the celestial kingdom of Xanadu was my own. I was charged with protecting our queen. But Shadar destroyed Xanadu, didn't he? So I guess you, kind of failed. No, I did not fall in battle. I was slain by a comrade, a fellow citizen of Xanadu. Huh? What do you mean? What you said was correct. Shadar did indeed lay waste to my own. The fiend made his way into the inner sanctum of the palace unnoticed by anyone. Our magic had no effect on him. Even the mighty sorcerer of Queen Kulan was useless. Kulan? But I heard she has the most powerful magic of all the great sages. Nonetheless, it was no use. She too was powerless against him. But Shadar did not take our lives. No, he had robbed us of something else. He stole our hearts. He took our hearts of all who dwelled in the city. Wait, he stole all your hearts? Indeed. Without hearts to call our own, we lacked emotion, we lacked reason. And that was how it came to pass that... You said enough. We can imagine what happened to him, believe me. Shadar will pay for this! What happened that day I will never forget. Its horrors forever etched in my memory. That's so horrible! You killed one of your own people. I'm so sorry! Do not pity me. My people still have hope. Hope? What do you mean? Queen Kulat, the Queen of the Evans. She lives still. She does, but we thought that... Now that I dwell in the spirit realm, I can feel her presence. I can sense my queen's power. For years I have searched for her without cease. She is not to be found in this kingdom. I sense her presence somewhere to the north of here. I sense something else too. Evil so terrible I fear to approach it. No, north of... You mean the Tombstone Trail? Time was. Other kingdom on this continent. Now there's only Amaline and the odd town or two. She's out there. We have to find her. Well, we've got Tingari. If the Queen of Evans is somewhere around here, we're sure to find her. Do you really mean to search for her? You have my eternal gratitude. Don't worry, ma'am. We won't let Shadar get away with what he's done. And besides, we have our own score to settle with the fiendish scoundrel. Oh, stop trying to impress her by sounding all heroic. What he means is, leave it to us. Oh, thank you, Miss Wombly. I am deeply grateful. I almost forgot. Should you find Queen Kulan or any other survivor of Xanadu, would you give them this? Can we accept things from a ghost? I guess we can. We've been getting spells from horrors for a while. It was damaged by the fire that swept through our realm. It was the only remaining proof of my city, and indeed, myself. The Wings of Xanadu. Alright. We don't have time to start looking for the Queen yet, but we do have time to see if we can find Horus. The second to last thing before I end the stream. We did get some new stories, and I don't want to forget to read them. So, 12 Tales of Wonder. I don't remember which ones we've read before. I've read The Cowardly Prince of the Lion already. I've read The Scroll and the Bramble. I don't think I've read The Fairy That Won't Stop Crying. Sit tight, boys and girls, I got a story to tell you. A fairy tale, if you like. Fairies like to be Fairies like me used to be 10 a penny, see? It'd be hard pressed to find one these days. Anyways, always on the move we are. Anyway, the story's about a very special fairy, and what happened a long, long time ago, and the fairy's still going strong today. So I hope, anyway. Right then, let's get cracking, ain't it? The story's about a little fairy who wouldn't stop crying. Sobbing he was day and night. Now, us fairies are hella impressionable, especially when we're little. We learn all sorts of tidy tricks from other fairies, but we can pick up bad habits just as easy. I don't know whose miserable mug this poor saw when he first popped into the world, but it must have been a proper tragedy, because the first thing he ever did in his life was cry, and then he just kept on crying. Now, it's not like Fairy wanted to be sad and tear all the time, he just couldn't help himself. Every time it got dark, he'd well up, like a blinking clockwork he was. What's more, young fairies to be hella cruel, and this little cry fairy got ribbed something terrible, all of which made him want to cry even more. One day, a traveling wizard happened to spot this fairy standing next to a puddle of tears. He was proper knackered, this wizard, and hell of a thirsty, so what he did, he took a drink from the puddle, ain't it? That was lovely, he thought. I felt 10 times better straight away. He off he went with the string of his step, gone to do his wizardly work. A bit later, when everything was done, he decided to go back and thank the fairy for the tears he drank. But when he came back, the puddle was even bigger than before. "Oh, fairy," he said in a grand old voice, "why you cry so much? I've been gone 3 days, and still you weep." Said the fairy. "Scared I am. Scared of the I don't know what to do about it." A few more days he went on. "And everyone makes fun of me. Good for nothing. Life's rubbish." And with that he went back to sobbing. "I see," said the wise old wizard, stroking his big white beard. "Perhaps a lantern is what you need." So he whips out this tiny lantern out of his cloak. It belongs to the end of fairy nose, right? And the light of the lantern makes the fairy blink like mad, but it didn't half cheer him up. And sure enough, he stopped crying. Felt like he'd been born again, he did. "You see, little fairy," said the wizard, "you shall never be in the dark again, no matter where you go." I'm not scared anymore," the fairy gasped, cracking the first smile in his whole entire life. "And you're no longer good for nothing either," laughed the wizard. "A smile of yours will bring comfort to a great many people. Come with me and I shall show you." So the fairy packed his dabs up in a little bag and went off with the wizard. They had some pretty hair-raising adventures after all, but the fairy never once got scared. He had his lantern at the end of his nose, see? And after he parted ways with the kindly wizard, he never cried again, and on the light of his nose is still shining to this day. Have a look around you. He might be right nearby. Well, what do you say? Proper tidy tale, wasn't it? I bet you got a tear in your eye now. So that's where Drippy comes from. A king of a peaceful kingdom had one daughter who he loved very much. This princess was very brave and very wise, and assisted her father in ruling the kingdom. Hard by the edge of the kingdom was a steep mountain. No one ever approached it, however, for it was known that a witch lived in the cave at its foot. This witch had long had an inclination to rule the kingdom herself, but the fearless princess never failed to foil her plans. The witch had an apprentice, who was top half bear and bottom half man. This apprentice was known as Bear Man, because the witch was very creative. He was fiercely strong, but very dull-witted, and always carried out the witch's commands to the letter. One day, Bear Man was in a cave, making potion. The witch returned with a young woman. It was, yes, guess, the princess who was always ruining her plans. Bear Man looked at the princess and was twice shocked. First, how wondrously fair she was, and second, the sight of her hands and feet, with the witch had turned to wood using magic. "Look after the princess," the witch commanded to Bear Man. "Do not let her get hungry or shed a single tear, else there will be trouble." The Bear Man immediately went to fetch some fruits and preserves from the larder. Since the princess's hands had been turned to wood, the Bear Man tried to put food in her mouth directly. The princess would turn away from him and instead look at the witch. "What will you do with me?" "I shall tell your father that I have taken you hostage," the witch replied, "and demand his kingdom in return for your freedom." "That would be a waste of time," retorted the princess. "Father's always telling me not to believe anything witches say. He will not trust you, even if I am in mortal danger." "Silence!" screeched the witch. A wave of her hand cursed the princess, who became quiet, unable to speak. The witch had stolen her voice. The next day, the witch went to the palace to negotiate with the king, and it was left to Bear Man to provide for the royal hostage. Bear Man liked looking at the princess. He felt sorry for her with her wooden limbs and her stolen voice. He tried his very best to take good care of her. The Bear Man was very kind, you see, and despised doing evil things. He was happy knowing the witch would not scold him for being kind to the princess. After all, it was the witch herself who commanded him to look after her. But while the princess did not shed a single tear, neither did she smile so much as once. The Bear Man used the finest ingredients to cook dishes he hoped would make the princess happy. When the meals were served, she would no more than stare at him in total silence. Now the Bear Man knew the princess would only smile when her hands and legs were free again, and she had regained her voice. The Bear Man could not lift the curse himself, and he knew the witch would never do it. All he could do was continue to cook fine meals for the princess. Several days passed, and still the king would not listen to the witch's demands, just as the princess had foretold. This did nothing for the witch's mood, of course, and one morning when the Bear Man was bringing food to the princess as usual, the witch shouted at him, "Why are you wasting such good food on her? Anything will do as long as it stops her from crying." "But I thought the princess would be happier if she could eat fine food, mistress." "Who told you to make her happy?" With that, the witch snapped up her wand, and with a flick of her wrist, rendered the princess stony deaf, and just brought the Bear Man a secret. "There's a reason why I told you to stop her from crying. She sheds but a single tear, all of her curses will be lifted at once." Bear Man now realized the witch had not wanted him to be kind to the princess, or to look after her. She had simply wanted him to stop her from crying. He now knew what to do to make the princess happy once more. The next time the witch left the cave, the Bear Man put his paws around the princess's rosy neck and started twisting. Yet she did not cry. I felt he had no choice but to strike her. He was strong, and the poor princess, unbalanced on her wooden legs, fell to the ground violently. "Now cry, I beseech you! Cry and all your curses will be lifted!" The deaf princess lay on the ground, clearly in pain, but still did not cry. She simply continued to stare directly at the bear man. The bear man, for his part, resolved to treat the princess with great cruelty. He stopped feeding her, set snakes and insects upon her, and pulled out her beautiful golden hair. The bear man tried his best to be brutish when he looked upon the princess. In agony, he felt so sorry for her he started sobbing. Though he hurriedly wiped the tears away with his big bear paws, knowing he must not let the princess see him crying, it was too late. The princess realized that something was amiss, and resolved not to shed a single tear, no matter what ordeals the bear man put her through. The bear man snarled and bared his teeth. He treated the princess more cruelly than ever, but the princess was very brave and very wise, and did not shed a single tear. A month passed, and the witch visited the king once more. When she returned, the king this time, however, mood had changed. The king refuses to negotiate, and there's no point in keeping me hostage anymore. It is time to kill her. When she waved her wand once more, seeing a deadly arrow whirling towards the princess. The bear man immediately threw his great bulk in front of her, shielding her from the arrow, which pierced his chest. She crashed to the ground, and the wand fell from the witch's hand. The bear man's fate was sealed, but as the last morsel of energy, he opened his eyes and looked at the princess. She stared back at him, with her eyes wide. I have done such terrible things. I will die an evil man in your eyes. Such were the bear man's sorrowful thoughts as he perished. As he did so, tears fell in a flood from the princess's eyes, raining down upon her wooden feet and arms, lifting the curse, returning to normal. The princess immediately stood, picked up the witch's wand, and used it to draw a rune, for the princess could use magic as well, you see. A large fire engulfed the cage, and the witch's wailing could be heard for miles around. Once the blaze had subsided, nothing remained of the witch, save a pile of pitch-black ashes. At that moment, the bear man was brought back to life as a beautiful young prince, for his dull-witted bear eyes form was nothing but a curse, imposed upon him by the wicked witch. The prince asked in a weak voice, for he was still on the brink of death, Your Highness, why did you cry for me? Witnessing your death, it filled me with terrible sorrow. Had I only known that crying would lift my curse, I should have done it far sooner. I see now you were trying to help me when you did those horrible things. I treated you terribly, Your Highness. Please forgive me. Of course I forgive you. You're a kind person at heart, and for that I am truly grateful. Now, please, do not die. While hearing these words, the prince shed one final tear, and breathed his last. The princess stared at the prince's lifeless body for a long while, before picking up the wand once more with conviction. She settled upon a course of action. She would cast Ashes of Resurrection. Upon casting the spell, the cave was filled with a white light, restoring breath to the princess' lungs as it shone upon him. The princess's spell had brought him back to life. The very next moment, however, the princess fell to the ground. As she lay there, she raised her face and asked the prince, Who are you? Ashes of Resurrection is a forbidden spell, he replied mournfully. Those who cast it always pay a terrible price. The price you have paid is your memory of me. The prince's eyes filled with tears of terrible sadness once more. The prince's? Wait. The prince? Did I miss something? Oh, okay, I obviously did miss something. I read that and didn't even notice. The prince's eyes are filled with tears of sadness once more. Why are you crying? Asked the puzzled princess. Because something important has been lost. On hearing the prince's next word, however, the prince could not help smile. Well, perhaps together we may make it anew. I read that already. Yep. I think that's all of them. Wait, did I read Flying Machine? I don't think so. I don't think I've read Flying Machine yet. There once was a boy who spent every day in a daze, dreaming of soaring through the skies. As a young child, he was always asking wizards to make him float for a few moments. A delightful experience, but he himself was no good at magic. Since he had always hated lessons of all kinds, there really was no hope of becoming a wizard, since he dreamed of being able to fly. Nothing could make him give up on his dream. One day, the boy took a journey to another world. There was a tunnel connected the two worlds in those days, you see, and people were able to travel between them quite easily. Now, the boy knew there was no such thing as magic in the other world, meaning that no one there was able to fly. He had, however, heard rumors of a painter who lived there, also dreamed of taking to the skies, just like he did. As soon as he arrived in the other world, the boy headed straight for the painter's house. When he got there was no one home. Feeling rather bold, the boy decided to go take a look around for himself. The first thing he saw upon entering the painter's house was a magnificent sketch, a drawing of a strange machine that was attached to something that spun around very quickly. There's no doubt about it, it was a machine that could fly. What a shame, thought the boy. My world of magic is so common that no one bothers inventing things like this. Because of excitement, the boy took a trace of the painter's sketch and took it with him back to his own world. After working hard for several years, the boy finished building the machine on the sketch, and for the first time ever, he was able to fly. Why, this is the happiest moment of my life, thought the boy with a big grin. Even though it was only for a few seconds of a time, he was able to live his dream. A short while after he finished building the painter's flying machine, the sage visited the boy and spoke to him very grandly. You must dispose of all knowledge gained from the other world. The boy was shocked. But why? The machine lets you soar through the skies. It's what I've always wanted. Using a machine to enjoy something which will only be achieved using magic is akin to poison in this world. Poison? Why is it like poison? Magic will be only used by those who possess pure hearts and have undergone proper training, which is borrow some of nature's power and use it to humans' benefit. Only those with a pure heart uncorrupted by evil are able to do this. Obviously not. Look at Shadar. Using machines to triumph over nature is not behavior of the pure-hearted. Now, what the sage meant was that anyone could use a machine to manipulate nature, even the untrained and the evil. Machines gave ordinary humans powers only gods and wizards should have. And though it hurt to admit it, the boy knew what the sage said was true, and very reluctantly handed over tracing the painter's sketch. As he did so, however, a young wizard who had been watching them interjected. Esteemed sage, wasn't magic originally intended to make our lives easier? If machines achieve the same effect, why shouldn't we use them? Because machines can be used by the wrong people for the wrong reasons, replied the sage impatiently. But the young wizard was undeterred. I've been to the other world, and I know how things work there. They have the people called scientists, and they are the ones who make machines. And they work miracles. They are capable of mixing iron and other rare materials to create things called alloys, which are strong enough to plow even the rockiest soil. You can't deny farmers' lives are much easier as a result. Surely you do not believe that all scientists seek to improve people's lives. The sage snapped back. Do you think perhaps that some of them will use wish machines to control people, bend them to their will? The young wizard was speechless for a moment. He soon found his tongue again. Couldn't the same be said for magic? Are there not some people who seek to use magic to increase their own influence? The boy tried to listen to the conversation between the sage and the young wizard, but they used a lot of different words and he had trouble following it. All he wanted to do after all was fly. In the year that followed, more and more people made visits to the other world. They would become increasingly surprised and impressed by the machines they saw there, and would run back to their own world to tell people all about them. They realized something must be done because technology from the other world was threatening to ruin the balance of their own. They had to seal the tunnel to the other world to ensure that the place of magic in society was never threatened again. Now, visiting the other world was not completely forbidden. White, powerful wizards cast the spell known as Gateway and traveled to the other world anytime they pleased. When the boy, who was now a young man by now, heard about the sages had done, he was terribly disappointed. Dash it all! He thought, now I'll never be able to visit the other world again! Yet he still dreamed of flying. If anything, he dreamed of it more than ever. When he thought about it every day for a long time, he eventually had an idea. What if I built a machine that's powered by magic? Surely the sages couldn't object to that. I shall make it magical. I shall jolly well build it and fly it as I like. Many months of hard work later, the young man's magical flying machine was complete. Medical power provided by, yes, you guessed it, the young wizard who had had the argument with the sages all those years ago. Once the final touch has been applied, it was time for a test flight. The young man straddled his machine and took off to the sky. The machine's wings flapped gently as it glided through the air, and its magic enchanted engine allowed him to stay in the sky for several hours. Midway through the test flight, he looked down. The sheep in the fields were as small as dormice, and he could see the waves of the sea in the distance glittering in the morning sun. I don't think everyone's ever felt happier, he thought the man with glee. He was too carefully listening to spare thought for the effect his new magical machine might have on the world. If he'd known the impact, you can be sure he would not have been quite so elated. That's it?